Some women do not leave with shouting. They do not pack bags in anger. They do not slam doors. Some women leave quietly, with dignity, with pain held deep inside. If you have ever stayed longer than you should, if you have ever smiled while breaking, this story will feel familiar. And if you are new here, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and stay with us for more true emotional stories. Now I start the story. I was the kind of woman people described as calm, understanding, easy to live with. What they did not see was how much of myself I had learned to hide. I married believing love meant patience, believing that if you stayed kind long enough, everything would eventually soften. My husband was respected, polite, quiet in public. At home, he was distant, not cruel, just absent. He did not raise his voice. He did not insult me openly. He simply stopped seeing me. Conversations became short. Affection became rare. Silence became normal. First I blamed life, work stress, responsibilities, time. I adjusted, like I always had. I spoke less, expected less, asked for less. When I felt lonely, I told myself this is marriage. When I felt invisible, I told myself I was being mature. Years passed like this, quietly, slowly. I cooked, I cleaned, I listened. I supported his dreams, his work, his tiredness. When I spoke about mine, he nodded, distracted, already somewhere else. The loneliness was not loud. It was constant. The hardest part was that nothing was obviously wrong. Friends admired us. Family praised our stability. They said you are lucky. You never fight. They did not know that peace without connection feels like emptiness. There were nights I lay awake, listening to his breathing, wondering when I stopped existing. I tried to fix it. I suggested trips, conversations, counseling. He said everything was fine, that I was overthinking. That sentence stayed with me. Overthinking. I began to question myself. Maybe I was too sensitive, too emotional, too needy. So I tried harder to be less demanding, less visible, less me. One evening, we were sitting at the same table, eating dinner in silence. I looked at him and realized something painful. If I disappeared, nothing in his routine would change. That thought broke something inside me. Not suddenly, but completely. I did not cry that night. It felt clear. For the first time in years, I listened to myself. I asked a simple question. Is this how I want to live? The answer came quietly, but firmly. No. I did not confront him. I did not argue. I did not explain. I began preparing in silence. I saved money. I sorted documents. I imagined a life where I could breathe. Every day, I became more present with myself and more distant from the role I was playing. He did not notice, because he had already stopped looking. The morning I left was ordinary. I made breakfast. I washed the cup. I folded a note. The note did not accuse. It did not explain everything. Simply said, I need to choose myself. I packed one suitcase. Only what mattered. There was no dramatic goodbye. No shouting. No tears. I closed the door softly. In the new place, everything felt unfamiliar. The silence was different. Not heavy, but open. I cried. Often. Not because I regretted leaving, but because I was grieving the years I had stayed invisible. Healing was slow. Some days I missed the familiarity, even the emptiness. But then I remembered. Staying had been more painful than leaving. I learned to sit with myself, to listen to my own thoughts, to rediscover what I liked. Morning coffee tasted different. Sleep felt deeper. Friends noticed the change. They said you seem lighter. I smiled, because I was. Months later, he reached out, confused, hurt, asking why. I did not explain again. I did not reopen wounds. Some people will never understand your leaving, because they benefited from your staying. I did not leave to hurt him. I left to save myself. Leaving quietly was my way of honoring the woman I was becoming. If you are listening to this, and you feel stuck in a life that looks fine but feels empty, Hear this. You do not owe drama to justify your pain. You do not need permission to choose peace. Sometimes the strongest thing a woman can do is leave quietly, with her dignity intact. She does not scream. She does not beg. She simply walks toward herself. And that is not weakness. That is courage.